Greetings and salutations. So in this video, we're going to go in a little bit more into the Linux Mint's thoughts and overviews. Um, so this is going to be an unscripted video, and should be around 5 minutes. But I just kind of wanted to showcase a few more pieces of the GUI GUI. Trying to shape, develop. If this might be something you're interested in or not, and the practicality of it. So here is the when you do the install for Linux Mint, what it'll do is if Firefox, it'll be defaulted in here, and they'll have the latest news, kind of the blog post of the changes that take place in Linux Mint. But if we go to their main site, what they'll have here is, here's your blog post. But what's significant about this is we're going to go to their their downloads, and then here under their downloads, you have the three different versions. You have Cinnamon, Mate, and X Xfix, or whatever this is. And so this is a much more streamlined, thinned out application. Like they've simplified this quite a bit, and some people like a really streamlined GUI interface. And let me see if I can. Let's see if this starts the download. I'm trying to resize, release notes, and so they'll go through here and have all the pertinent torrent. And so, but you can see all your download places where you can download this version, and the locations are going to be the same on the other distros. But what's the takeaway from me showing you this is most of these are universities, and our education centers are places that support the development of the Linux distro in general. And the thing about Linux is it's pushed forward and developed by the community. And I cannot speak to the importance of community. And when the definition of community, 50 years ago, you just thought about your neighborhood, the people in your neighborhood that kind of collectively all shared the same interest. But as we kind of move into this global phenomenon, people around the world with different expertise will collect or gravitate towards certain ideologies or certain concepts or values, and they'll manifest themselves into communities. And this is a community. And when you there are kind of 4 or 5 different versions of this community. And when you start watching some of the blog posts on on YouTube, you'll see that some of them have their own interest and frustrations in the development cycle, and some of these communities directly work against each other in their applications and what their values are. And so that's just kind of something to take away. But at its core, though, universities are what bring in the communities. So you go to school, you take some programming classes, you learn some basic HTML, and that's where you get introduced into your Linux experiences through servers and how to host websites. And then from there, it kind of gravitates towards the kernel and how it operates on operating systems, how it can be manipulated on applications, phones, etc. And so that's kind of why most of these are university based, and it's kind of like it's a perpetual paying it forward, because as new students come in, they work off of somebody else's learning curve or somebody else's project as the old students transition out with their degrees and move on with their careers and push forward. And so that's kind of the beauty of the way this is tied into the education system. Is there's always fresh blood coming in. They learn their content and how it affects the infrastructure, and then they transition out, and it's a recycling of knowledge. A little bit of insight on that, and I'm sure that some people have their own takeaway or their own thought process about that, but that's kind of my paradigm of how Linux exists within the education system and why it is mainly stored on the servers where you get it are from the universities. Let's see, we go to projects, and you can donate because it is free. It's a completely free application. I was trying to find a better example of the the differences between the. Here we go. So um, all versions. I'm trying to find that it has where it has the three different the link that shows the difference between mate and I can't remember release notes. Oh, why is it not in here? Anyways, I will find that and I will start another video. I don't want to drag this on too much. All versions. Let's see. Yeah. And so another piece of this is they'll talk about short-term support and long-term support, and that's what this is, long-term support. And so they'll support this out until 2023, and um, and and part of this is they don't want to get caught up in developing something and support it for 10 years because this actually, when you think about it, evolves pretty rapidly. Like a year ago, I downloaded, maybe a year and a half ago, I was on 18.1, and now they're on 19.1. And that's the way these release notes work. Is they're saying that this version was year 2018, so January 2018, and this version is January 2019. But these operating systems are, if you were to, their overall effectiveness and quality and what they implement into the systems could be a 25% evolution. Like there's 25% more functionality and application development from 18.1. That's just a rough estimate, but just to kind of shape your perspective of how much these operating systems evolve. Um, it could be anywhere from 20 to 30%. Because like Discord wasn't functional in 19.1 because I looked for it, and TeamSpeak I could only get it to install if I went through the terminal. And now it all exists within the download manager. So it speaks volumes to how much integration that they've added from just that 1 year of cycle. And so it's not like Windows where it stays the same for 10 years and then they're like boom, Windows 7, and they're like boom, Windows Vista. 10 years later, it's kind of comparable to that jump, but it's that jump in a year. I'm going to close the video off here. I'm just trying to kind of broaden some perspective based off my knowledge base. It's typically what I do is I get into the weeds on a lot of stuff, and the accuracy might be a little off, but it's roughly correct for the most part. It's just my understanding of how the system works. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And I would definitely like to see the Linux community. I would like to see more energy and emphasis put into the Linux community. I definitely want to get away from the cloud-based, subscription-based model of software. I like the old method where it was, you paid for a product and it was yours. And I'm okay with maybe there needs to be a homogeny of that to where instead of having a prescription-based service, that maybe you kind of do like you pay for a product, and then your annual updates are you pay a 10% of that original product price. So if the item costs you $60, you pay $10 the following year for your updates. At least that way you're paying for a product that you continue to, but it is your product. It is not in this subscription-based licensing model where if they decide they don't want to support it, you're no longer allowed to use it, and it's gone forever. And that is a theme that is happening. Is Adobe just recently cut off one of their product, and they basically threatened to sue you if you use their product, even though they're no longer supporting it. And so that's why Linux is important, that we need to support it in whatever methods we can, if you through making videos or recommend it to friends, at a minimum at the bottom level, and later on, maybe your support is through the actual development of content, and then at a higher echelon, maybe it's through supporting through donations. But there's definitely degrees of support through secondary and third effects. All right, I'm going to close the video here and find a better example of the different flavors of mint and cinnamon. All right, thank you very much.